Okay, if you're a creator, you know the hustle. That constant pressure to just make more. Record, edit, upload, repeat. But what if the key to winning wasn't just about working harder, but about building a smarter system? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down today, the new world of YouTube automation. And look, this isn't some niche idea anymore. A recent report found that a whopping 83% of creators are already using AI in their workflows. 83%. That means the vast majority of people in this space are already on board. The shift isn't coming. It's already here, and it is completely changing the game. And this quote right here, it just perfectly captures the new mindset. We're not talking about small optimizations or editing a little bit faster. No. We're talking about a fundamental overhaul of how videos get made, moving from manual labor to a fully automated, scalable system. So why is this massive shift happening in the first place? Well, let's be real. It comes down to one huge problem: creator burnout. The demand for more content, better content, faster content, it's just become completely unsustainable for one person to handle.
I mean, just think about that math for a second. Some people estimate it can take 7 hours of work to produce a single minute of finished video. That is an absolutely brutal equation. That kind of intense, manual work is the biggest bottleneck to growing a channel, and it's the #1 reason creators just burn out and quit.
And that's why we're seeing this huge shift in thinking. We're moving away from the old idea of the creator economy, which was all about one person's hustle and grind, and we're moving into what you could call content manufacturing, which is all about building systems that can scale. The most successful channels now, they're thinking less like artists and more like factory managers.
Okay, so if we're going to think like a factory, what does that production system actually look like? Well, the model for it is called the content assembly line.
This assembly line is basically powered by YouTube automation. And let me be really clear about what this means. This is not about creating spammy, low-effort junk. Not at all. It's a strategic system that uses specific tools to handle all the repetitive work, which frees you up to focus on the things that matter: creativity, quality, and of course, scale.
So the process really breaks down into 4 main stages, just like a real assembly line. It all starts with ideation and scripting, where the actual idea is born. Then you move to asset generation, where AI helps you create your voice, your visuals, your music, all the ingredients. The third step is where the real magic is, programmatic assembly, where an engine automatically puts all those pieces together. And finally, you have optimization, making sure people actually find your video.
So how do you actually power each stage of this assembly line? You do it with a very specific set of AI tools. This collection of tools working together is what we call your AI stack. It's basically the machinery that runs your entire content factory. So here's a quick look at how that might work. For scripting, you could use something like ChatGPT to generate your structured outlines. For the voiceover, a tool like 11 Labs can create an incredibly human-like narration from your text. For visuals, you might use Runway to generate totally unique B-roll just from a few words. And then, the keystone of the whole thing is an assembly engine like ShotStack, which takes all those ingredients and programmatically builds the final video. This is the part that truly lets you scale up production.
Okay, I know what a lot of you are probably thinking right now. This all sounds incredibly powerful, but is it even allowed by YouTube? That brings us to what is, without a doubt, the most critical part of this entire system, the human quality check.
This is the #1 question on every creator's mind. If I use this much AI, am I going to get my channel demonetized or, even worse, banned? And the answer is, it really all comes down to how you use it.
See, YouTube's policy is actually pretty clear. They don't have a problem with AI content itself. What they have a problem with is what they call inauthentic content, which is just a fancy way of saying mass-produced, low-value spam. So to stay on the right side of the rules, you have to add unique value. You have to disclose when AI is used for realistic content, and most importantly, you have to have human oversight. And this right here is the golden rule. The biggest mistake people make is taking the raw output from an AI tool and just uploading it straight to YouTube. The automation is there to do 90% of the heavy lifting, but that final 10%, the quality check, the final polish, your human judgment, that's what makes the content valuable, and that's what keeps you in good standing with YouTube.
So what happens when you get this right? When you combine a powerful AI stack with that crucial human touch? Well, you unlock a whole new frontier of what's possible in media, one that's already proving to be insanely successful.
This content manufacturing model is the exact engine that's powering the explosive growth of what everyone's calling faceless channels.
We're talking about entire media brands being built without a single person ever having to appear on camera.
And don't think for a second that these are just small niche channels. A channel like 5-Minute Crafts, which runs entirely on this kind of model, has over 81 million subscribers. Let that sink in. This isn't a theory. It's a proven model for building a massive, mainstream audience.
So, at the end of the day, what this all means is that automation isn't just a shortcut. It's the key to building a truly sustainable and scalable media brand. It separates the value of your content from your own on-camera personality, and it gives you the freedom to build a content empire without ever having to step in front of the lens.
The tools are here. The strategies aren't a secret anymore. They're accessible to pretty much everyone. So the real question isn't whether or not this is possible. The real question is, how are you going to design your content assembly line to build the next great channel?